It all started as a joke. One of those stupid, impulsive ideas that seem hilarious at the time, but end up changing your life forever. Jake and I had been best friends since middle school, and we'd always been the kind of guys who dared each other to do ridiculous things. Streaking across the football field at midnight, eating an entire ghost pepper on a dare, dyeing our hair neon colors before prom. You name it, we'd probably done it. But nothing could have prepared us for what happened that summer at the beach house. Jake's family owned a small, weathered cottage right on the shore, the kind of place where the salty air clung to everything and the floors creaked with every step. We'd gone there every summer since we were 16, a tradition that had survived high school, college, and even Jake's disastrous breakup with his ex. This year, though, things felt different. Maybe it was the fact that we were both turning 25, that weird age where you're not quite young anymore, but not quite settled either. Or maybe it was just the strange, restless energy in the air that week, like the universe was holding its breath before throwing something insane at us. The first few days were normal. Beer, bad sunburns, and terrible attempts at grilling. Then, on the third night, Jake came out of the spare bedroom with a mischievous grin and 2 pieces of fabric dangling from his fingers. It took me a second to realize what they were: bikinis. Bright red, lacy, and definitely not meant for us. No way, I said immediately, shaking my head. Come on, he laughed. It'll be funny. We'll take a picture, send it to the group chat, and never speak of it again. I should have said no. I definitely should have said no. But there was something about the challenge in his eyes, the way he was already pulling off his shirt like it was no big deal. So, against my better judgment, I grabbed the other bikini. The fabric was softer than I expected, the straps thin and delicate against my fingers. I hesitated for a second, then stepped into it, pulling the bottoms up over my boxers before quickly yanking them off when Jake gave me a look. The fit was weird. Tight in places I wasn't used to, loose in others. The top was worse. I had no idea how women managed to tie those tiny strings behind their backs, and after a few failed attempts, Jake had to help me. When we finally stood in front of the hallway mirror, I barely recognized us. Jake, with his broad shoulders and scruffy beard, looked absurd in the bright red bikini, his muscular frame completely at odds with the delicate fabric. I wasn't much better, taller and leaner, but just as out of place. We burst out laughing, grabbing our phones to snap the dumbest pictures imaginable. And then it happened. A strange warmth spread through my body, starting at my chest and rushing down to my toes. At first, I thought it was just embarrassment, my face flushing from how ridiculous we looked. But then my skin tingled, like 1,000 tiny needles prickling just beneath the surface. I gasped, looking down at my hands, my thinning hands, my fingers slimming, my nails turning glossy without polish. Jake's eyes widened as he stared at me, and I realized with a jolt that he was changing too. His beard was receding, his jawline softening, his shoulders narrowing. His chest, oh God, his chest was filling out under the bikini top, the fabric suddenly fitting in a way it absolutely shouldn't have. We stumbled back, panic setting in, but it was too late. The changes kept coming, faster now. My hips ached as they widened, my waist cinching and like an invisible corset was tightening around me. My hair tumbled past my shoulders, longer than it had ever been, the dark strands silky against my suddenly smooth skin. When it finally stopped, we stood there, breathless, staring at each other in shock. Because we weren't us anymore. We were girls. And the bikinis fit perfectly now. The silence that followed was deafening. Jake, no. She now reached up with trembling hands, touching her face, her throat, her chest. Her fingers traced the new curves, the unfamiliar softness, and when she finally spoke, her voice was higher, smoother, but still laced with the same disbelief I felt. What the hell just happened? I couldn't answer. My own body felt alien, wrong, and right all at once. My center of gravity had shifted, my movements lighter, my skin hypersensitive to the brush of the bikini fabric. I turned back to the mirror, and a stranger stared back at me, a woman with wide, startled eyes, full lips, and a body that was undeniably, unmistakably female. Jake stumbled to the couch, gripping the armrest like she might collapse. "This isn't possible," she muttered, running a hand through her hair, longer now, wavy and golden where it had once been short and dark. I swallowed hard, my throat bobbing in a way that felt different. "We need to get these off," I said, reaching behind my back to fumble with the bikini ties. But the moment my fingers touched the fabric, another jolt of warmth shot through me, and I yanked my hand away like I'd been burned. Jake noticed. "Try again," she said, her voice tight. I hesitated, then reached back. The second my skin made contact with the bikini, the same strange heat pulsed through me, stronger this time. My vision swam, my knees buckling as a wave of dizziness crashed over me. When it passed, I realized something even worse. I didn't want to take it off. The thought hit me like a punch to the gut. I liked how it felt. The way the fabric hugged my new shape, the confidence that surged through me when I looked in the mirror.
It was terrifying.
Jake must have felt it too because her fingers, which had been tugging at her own bikini, stilled. Her expression shifted from panic to something else. Curiosity? Fascination? She turned back toward the mirror, tilting her head as she examined herself. "I look good," she admitted quietly. And she did. We both did. The transformation had been seamless, as if we'd always been meant to look like this. My mind raced with questions. Was this magic? A curse? Some bizarre, scientific anomaly? But deeper than the fear was something else, something I couldn't ignore. A thrill. The longer I wore the bikini, the more right it felt. Like I was finally seeing myself clearly for the first time. Jake exhaled shakily. Okay, we need to figure this out. But first, she gestured to the closet. We can't exactly walk around like this. I nodded, trying to ignore the strange disappointment curling in my stomach at the thought of covering up. We rummaged through our bags, pulling out loose shirts and shorts, but nothing fit right anymore. My old clothes hung awkwardly on my new frame, the fabric bunching in all the wrong places. Jake cursed under her breath as she struggled with a pair of swim trunks that now sagged off her hips. Finally, we gave up and raided the house for anything that might work. Jake's aunt sometimes stayed here, and luckily, she'd left a few things behind. We found a sundress, a pair of leggings, a flowy blouse. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. As I pulled on the borrowed clothes, I caught another glimpse of myself in the mirror. The sundress draped over my curves, the neckline framing my collarbones in a way that made my breath catch. I didn't hate it, and that scared me more than anything. Jake met my eyes in the reflection, her expression unreadable. What do we do now? I didn't have an answer. But one thing was certain. This wasn't just a prank anymore. This was real. And neither of us knew how to undo it. The next few hours passed in a surreal haze. We paced the creaky wooden floors of the beach house, tossing out wild theories between nervous laughter and stunned silence. Maybe it was a hallucination, something in the cheap beer or the seafood we'd grilled earlier. Maybe we'd fallen asleep, and this was some bizarre shared dream. But the pinch Jake gave her own arm left a red mark, and the way the breeze fluttered the hem of my sundress against my thighs felt too real to dismiss. By sunset, we'd exhausted every logical explanation. The bikinis were just fabric, nothing unusual about them except how perfectly they fit our new bodies. No hidden tags, no strange symbols, no eerie glow. Just two ordinary pieces of swimwear that had somehow rewritten our very DNA. Jake sank onto the porch steps, staring at the ocean. The fading light painted her face in gold and shadow, her new features softened by the salt air. "What if it's permanent?" she whispered. The question hung between us, heavy and unspoken. I wanted to say it was impossible, that we'd wake up tomorrow back in our old bodies, laughing about the weirdest nightmare ever. But the longer I sat there, the harder it was to imagine going back. That night, we slept fitfully. Every brush of the sheets against my sensitive skin, every unfamiliar curve pressing into the mattress, reminded me this wasn't some prank gone wrong. This was my life now. Morning came with the screech of seagulls and an insistent knocking at the door. We froze. "Jake? You in there?" A male voice, familiar. Mark, Jake's college roommate.
Panic shot through me.
Jake and I exchanged wide-eyed looks. There was no time to hide, no way to explain. The door creaked open before we could move. Mark stopped dead in the doorway, his gaze darting between us. Sorry, he blinked.
Wait.
Jake. Jake's breath hitched. She opened her mouth, closed it, then squared her shoulders in a way that was still so her, even in this body. Hey, Mark. The silence that followed was excruciating. Mark's expression cycled through confusion, disbelief, then dawning realization.
No.
No way. He pointed at her, then at me. You're not. It's us, I said quietly. Mark staggered back like he'd been slapped. What the actual hell happened to you two? Somehow, we convinced him we weren't punking him. The bikinis, the transformation, the impossible reality of it all. To his credit, Mark didn't bolt. Instead, he did something unexpected. He helped. Okay, crazy magic bikinis aside, he said, rubbing his temples. You can't just hide here forever. You need clothes that fit.
Food.
A plan. So we ventured out. The world looked different through this lens. The way men's eyes lingered just a second too long as we walked past. The way the shop clerk called us ladies, without hesitation. The strange thrill of slipping into a dressing room with armfuls of soft fabrics meant for bodies like ours. I caught Jake staring at herself in the store mirror, turning slowly in a navy blue sundress. There was something quiet in her expression, something almost peaceful. You okay? I asked. She met my eyes in the reflection. Yeah, she said softly. I think I am. Weeks passed. Summer faded, but we didn't. We found jobs. New apartments. A rhythm to this unexpected life. The bikinis stayed tucked away in a drawer. We still didn't understand their power, but touching them sent that same electric warmth through us, a reminder that this wasn't some fluke. Sometimes, late at night, I'd wonder, was this always supposed to happen? Then Jake would text me a selfie, her hair longer now, her smile brighter, and I'd remember. It didn't matter. We were us, just more. And for the first time, that felt like enough. The months that followed were a whirlwind of firsts. First time walking in heels without wobbling. First time being catcalled, which Jake handled by flipping the guy off with her newly manicured nails. First time crying at a shampoo commercial because, oh my god, the puppy was so happy. Emotions hit harder now, like my body had traded muscle mass for a deeper connection to every feeling that flickered through me. Jake adapted faster than I did. Within weeks, she'd mastered winged eyeliner and could strut in stilettos like she was born in them. Meanwhile, I still got tangled in strappy bras and nearly set my hair on fire with a curling wand. But we learned. Together. Mark became our accidental guardian angel, introducing us to his queer friend group who welcomed us without blinking. Trans? Magic bikini curse? Honestly, weirder shit happens at brunch, said Riley, a non-binary barista who immediately took us under their wing. Then came the talk. We were sitting on our new apartment's fire escape, sharing a bottle of wine that tasted better now, another quirk of our changed taste buds, when Jake finally voiced the thought that had been haunting me. Do you ever miss it? She asked, staring at the city lights. Being him? The question settled between us like fog. I swirled my glass, watching the liquid cling to the sides. Sometimes, I admitted, not the body but the ease of it, the way the world treated me before. Jake nodded. I don't miss him, she said quietly. But I keep wondering, if we hadn't put on those bikinis, would we have ever realized? She trailed off, but I understood. Would we have spent our whole lives never knowing this version of ourselves existed? The answer came unexpectedly during Pride Month. We marched with Mark's group, our faces glittering under the June sun. Halfway through the parade, a float passed by draped in a massive transgender flag, its colors rippling like liquid joy. Something cracked open in my chest as the crowd cheered. Jake grabbed my hand, her eyes shining. Neither of us had to say it. This was where we belonged. Later, as fireworks painted the sky, I felt it. No more what-ifs, no more fear. Just gratitude for that ridiculous dare, for the magic we'd never understand, for the lives we'd almost missed. Back home, We dug the bikinis out of storage. They still hummed with that strange warmth when we touched them. Keep them? Jake asked. I folded the red fabric gently, smiling. As a reminder of second chances, of the day we became ourselves. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.